a lot of people around the world are talking about Ukraine today, Taiwan tomorrow.
Someone is provoking the bottom line of China. They are urging the Taiwanese independence movement to become bolder and bolder.
They have to decide. They, Taiwan, not us. And we are not encouraging independence. We're encouraging that they do exactly what the Taiwan Act requires.
Japan's relations with China has been very, very sour. It is quite natural for the Japanese people to worry about Taiwan contingency.
台湾是中国的事，不关日本的事。
서로의 그 안보를 피로써 지키기로 약속한 그런 국가이기 때문에 거기에 걸맞는 그런 관계가 다시 자리를 잡아야 될 것으로 생각합니다.
Scenes that shook the world. But in Taiwan, a territory situated more than 8,000 kilometers away, Russia's invasion of Ukraine was met with more than just shock and horror. It triggered waves of panic among some segments of society. They continue to grapple with the question, when will Taiwan be next?
觉得不可能的事情，我觉得看到俄乌战争之后，你会觉得事实上是有可能的，而且不管它有没有可能，我觉得台湾人都要做好准备。
民间方位的话，我想至少每一个人都要有这个意识，就是有可能爆发战争，那才不会真的事情发生的时候大家很恐慌，因为最怕的是社会的恐慌，然后还有大家有投降主义弥漫。因为我想在整个军事评估上面，台海如果爆发战争的话，其实中国会付出非常惨痛的代价，但前提是台湾有坚决抵抗，然后不投降的意志。
To prepare themselves, some Taiwanese have signed up for special courses on how to survive a war zone. Known as I Can Help workshops, these courses impart participants with skills to save lives and the knowledge to navigate hostile environments.
除此之外，紧急应变不是只有急救，还有搜救、通讯、避难所的管理。
Enoch Wu, a former Special Forces officer, has been leading these classes for the past year. In the wake of the Ukraine crisis, he's observed a renewed interest in these courses.
Gotten a very strong demand signal from the public that they wanted to be better trained, to be better prepared, and to know how to help each other in events of emergencies. And so we moved up our class schedule by a couple months. And as soon as we opened up our April classes, they were filled within an hour or two. We're all heartened and touched and moved by average Ukrainians' will to protect their country and their homes. And so what transpired over the past couple months, and as a Taiwanese, it's that much clear that we need to be better prepared against any crises during peacetime so that we can prevent war from happening in the first place, so we can maintain our peace.
那个乌克兰的总统泽伦斯基他就讲说，如果当有战争来的时候，乌克兰人民他不会向后靠，他会正面的面对俄罗斯。那时候我就会觉得说，对呀，台湾人也不可能向后靠，台湾人也一定要正面的面对这件事情的时候，那才会开始想说，那我们到底要怎么正面面对这件事情？每个人应该要做好自己的工作。那我作为一个普通人，我觉得我也应该要做好自己的准备。
Some people in Taiwan, or actually a lot of people around the world, are talking about Ukraine today, Taiwan tomorrow. I don't agree on that, but still, that has caused some mental threat, psychological threat to the people in Taiwan. Because quite of our people are afraid that what if there would be an invasion from the Chinese mainland on Taiwan? So we would not like to see any war happening on this piece of land.
In the wake of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, observers around the world were quick to point out the similarities between Ukraine and Taiwan. But Beijing has sought to de-link the two conflicts.
台湾问题同乌克兰问题有着本质区别，两者没有任何可比性。最根本的不同在于，台湾是中国领土不可分割的一部分，台湾问题完全是中国的内政，而乌克兰问题呢，则是俄罗斯和乌克兰两个国家之间的争端。
Lately, both China and the United States have been trading blame for the heightened tensions in the Taiwan Strait. The U.S. is calling China out for this.
Taiwan's defense ministry says Chinese fighter jets have approached the island for a second day in a row.
在昨天一整天，总共有38架的攻击扰台。
And a record number of China aircraft enter Taiwan's air defense zone. The island is on high alert, raising concerns around the region.
光是昨天的39架次的扰台，已经创下今年单日最高纪录。
I hear you that China seeks peaceful reunification, but why then do we see so many frequent incidents of Chinese warplanes flying to Taiwan airspace?
Because someone is provoking the bottom line of China. For many years, the United States acknowledged and agreed that they will have no government-to-government relations with Taiwan. They will only have economic, trade, cultural exchanges with Taiwan. Now you see more and more U.S. civilian government officials, even military officials, delegations of all kinds visiting Taiwan. They are urging the Taiwanese independence movement to become bolder and bolder.
I think Washington finds this narrative frustrating, but somewhat laughable at this point. Everything is Washington's fault, right? If China engages in more bomber patrols around Taipei, that's somehow Washington's fault.
If we talk about the military tensions, the military tension in the Taiwan Straits generally is caused by the People's Liberation Army, who has had the mission to take Taiwan back if necessary. So we have seen the recent the PLA's presence around Taiwan. So that's a very important sign for Taiwan society to know that the goal of the PRC to reunite with Taiwan has never stopped.
Over the past 5 years, relations between Beijing and Taipei have broken down.
台湾的民主自由要赢得共信。
As Taiwan's ruling Democratic Progressive Party, or DPP, hardened its stance against the mainland. Within the Taiwanese community, voices pushing for independence have also been getting louder. And Beijing's patience is wearing thin.
通过大搞两个中国和一中一台，歪曲台湾的历史，割裂台湾的根脉，到头来必将葬送台湾的未来。
The reality is, the majority of Taiwan's population are wary about rocking the boat with China. In fact, in 2019, voters were so dissatisfied with the DPP government's tough stance against Beijing and its cost on Taiwan's economy that they nearly voted President Tsai Ing-wen out of office. Events in neighboring Hong Kong helped turn the tide in Tsai's favor.
香港的抗争越来越激烈，未来中国给台湾的压力只会更多，不会更少。在这种局势之下，台湾需要的是一个稳健、理性的领导人。
And now, the Russian invasion of Ukraine has created yet another opportunity for Tsai to maintain her political momentum. Her first move was to revise the territory's reservist laws and raise military spending, all in the name of defending Taiwan's democracy. And while the moves were expected, it was the fanfare and fashion of those announcements that raised eyebrows.
President Tsai appeared in a military uniform, announcing her plan, increasing military budget, and a possible change in the voluntary service regulations. But I think it's more a way for the public relations of the Chinese administration so that our people can feel more confident that this government is doing something beneficial and positive for Taiwan during the crisis between Ukraine and Russia. Another reason why President Tsai did that is that the US has been asking Taiwan to increase Taiwan's national defense budget to a higher level so that Taiwan can show its true determination for self-defense.
As a vital hub for manufacturing semiconductors, Taiwan is far more important to the global economy than Ukraine is. And the US is already taking action to protect these global interests, much to China's displeasure. Inside one of Taiwan's top institutions, preparations are being made for war with China. The 700,000 treasures here represent 8,000 years of Chinese history. Following reports that even museums were not spared during the bombardments in Ukraine, leading to the destruction of thousands of cultural artifacts, the museum established a special task force to devise plans to evacuate its treasures in the event of war. Xiao Qingwang is a leading archaeologist in Taiwan, so he's watching these plans closely.
我们拥有整个华人地区最重要的故宫博物院，它所典藏的这些传世品其实非常的珍贵，尤其是它很多的珍品，还有一些跟我们在整个华夏文化里面非常直接关系的这些古物。 其实如果有这些的武装冲突的时候，那我们一定要先前的防范未然，然后能够居安思危去思考，可能有一天我们的一个文化也可能会受到摧毁。
The fact that collections belonging to generations of Chinese emperors now sit in a museum 2,000 kilometers away from the Forbidden City says a lot about Taiwan's complex history. Over the past 4 centuries, the island was governed by the Dutch, Spanish, China's Qing dynasty, and even the Japanese before returning to Chinese rule. Then in 1950, it became the seat of a government in exile after China's nationalist forces, led by Chiang Kai-shek, fled the mainland following a crushing defeat by the Chinese Communist Party. Today, Beijing continues to seek reunification. At the Chinese Communist Party's 100th anniversary celebrations in 2021, President Xi Jinping makes clear how he sees the Taiwan issue being resolved.
解决台湾问题，实现祖国完全统一，是中国共产党矢志不渝的历史任务，是全体中华儿女的共同愿望，坚决粉碎任何 台独图谋，共创民族复兴美好未来。